Welcome, everybody. Mike Martinez, and today I have the great pleasure of introducing not only a friend, but one of the public adjusters that are one of the leaders in our company that's working in the Durham, North Carolina area. He's a regional manager there, and he's just a great guy with a lot of knowledge and a lot of strong desire to help people. So. It's my pleasure to sit down and chat with Mr. Glenn Gutin. And by the way, he is the author and the performer for a song called Hurricane Blues, which he actually wrote. So, Glenn, why don't you share some of that with us?
Okay. You can hear that?
Yep, I can hear it.
Thunder and lightning, bad news for you. Nasty Mother Nature came on through to visit you. Well, all you got is the hurricane blues. We got some help for your hurricane blues. Late in the night, early in the dawn, robbers broke in, damn, they took it all. Police and no help, feels like a wasted coal, yeah. Now you know the pain of those robbery blues. Iced all night, rained all day, soaked your house, don't know how you're gonna pay. Can't stay there, you can't afford to move. Now you need some help with your hurricane blues. There you go.
Very good, man. Very good. Very good. I
All
like
right,
that,
I'm
man. That's
glad we
very
did that.
creative, man. Glenn, I know you're originally from the Northeast, New Jersey in particular, and you're
Sorry
now
about that.
in. Yeah, no issues, man. Now you're in North Carolina, like I said, Durham. And what can you say about the industry, the public adjusting industry, and particularly about the expansion that we're going through? Because as you know, we're an essential business. We are essential workers. When a person has a broken pipe or a collapsed roof or a tree hits their home, we have to do what we have to do. So, what do you say about the industry and its growth right now?
Well, I tell you, where we are here, we're in Hurricane Alley. I mean, if there's a hurricane coming up Florida, it's going to hit Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina along the way. So we're definitely as busy as ever been, and of course, Metro has been on top of technology, so that's definitely just improved our ability to get things done. And yeah, look, north, south, east, west, Mother Nature's coming through, and I just had a message from a local. Actually, you know what? He's in New Jersey. Maybe I'll have you go see the situation. He's a water and restoration guy who I've seen on Facebook. We talked about connecting with contractors and those people through Facebook. A
Mm.
little impatient, never really jumped on the opportunity to let me come on over and help one of his clients. And it's always a situation where I know that client is getting ripped off. That client is not getting all the money they need and deserve. This guy's charging them, and then they're not getting the money from the insurance. And he has been hesitant to jump on telling the client good news. Not only did I do a great job cleaning your place up for you, I mean, he's not going to say it that way, but these guys are going to be able to come over and help you out with getting the money to pay for all that work. And you know, you said it before when you introduced me. I've been yeah, I feel like somebody's not being treated fairly. you want to do something about it to help them. And then it's his client. I can't, there's only so much you can do. So that's been a little bit frustrating, but we're busy, and you know, I'm excited about the fact that I got a client from New Jersey. I feel like I'm missing out not being up in New Jersey, being down here
Hmm.
in this area,
Yeah.
but obviously
Well,
this area is just anywhere else.
one of the things, and you and I have spoken about this in the past, but one of the things that I admire from you is the fact that as a leader, you display a lot of courage, right? You're a type of guy that just goes into the fray and is not worried about the grind, and you just have a tremendous amount of courage. What you just did, man. I mean, just going out and playing your little song there for us. A lot of people would have said, "What is this guy doing?" But you don't care. And we both know you're not Michael Jackson, right? But you don't care. You're out there and you're still doing it. How does that leadership and that courage help you with your public adjusting business?
Well, I tell you what, it's funny when you said that. By the way, I only hit one wrong chord that song. I'm usually way off. So I keep track of my progress by how badly I play. But I tell you what, I don't really know why. I've never had any hesitance to get up in front of the room. I mean, I remember my first day at the meeting at the time the meetings were in Paramus, New Jersey, the Northern Jersey meetings. And I got there, and the people that you and I both know is the people that have been with the company even longer. You know, I forget exactly who was up, but they were all wearing suits. That was before we switched to the more casual attire. But they were, I know you usually dress in a suit also, which is really nice, and I typically do the same. But at that time, that was my first meeting, so I was ready in a suit, and the guys up in front were all wearing suits, and most of the people sitting in the other seats weren't wearing suits. So it was pretty easy for me to see. I wanted to be up in front wearing a suit, you know, and that's always just been my way. I've just always uh, acted like a manager, and I find if you act like a manager, people treat you like a manager, whether you're the manager or not. And so to take that to not being shy, I have said this many times. Give me your company's brochure, put me on stage at Madison Square Garden with 40,000 people, and I'll explain it. Just give me 5 minutes to review your materials. I have no fear of standing in front of a lot of people and explaining whatever. Metro is one of the greatest things to explain. People have problems and we solve them, and it's free.
Hmm.
And you don't pay a penny until we know we're getting you the money. I mean, what a great thing to explain to people who are dealing with a real horrible situation. It's not like we can explain that to anybody. It's great. But a person that's in that situation, that's what they need to hear. Because what are they expecting? What are they going to hear from these the other people? The average remodeling guy. I need $10,000 for materials so I can go place your order at Lowe's or Home Depot.
Mm.
Well, now we can explain to the contractor before you even have to ask about one penny. You're going to tell them before we ask for one penny from you. We want to double check and see, you know, Mike Martinez is going to come over here and review your situation, and then we'll take a look at the money. You know, I just think that it gives people a real relief, that they're not in the worst situation ever. Whatever happened to their
Right,
house
right,
might not be that bad a situation, but it might be. We never know.
right, right.
So
So,
yeah, I'm put me up in front of people, and I like it. I like that being in that position. I need to learn more. I mean, we're learning so much every day. I mean, the class from John Jackson about lightning strikes. I mean,
Mm,
I'm afraid to walk into a house from now on, because the danger that surrounds people that they have no idea, you know,
yeah, yeah.
such a
And you
danger.
know what? You touched on something very interesting, which was the fact that our company, for those of you that are looking that are not familiar with our company, we actually started in, I would say, mid to late 2019. We started shifting to a virtual business idea. So, in other words, we started doing what they call DocuSign, where you actually get documents and email them, the contracts that we create when we're doing these things. The Zoom meetings where you actually don't have to go to an actual location to get the training. You could do that from your home. We've had several different improvements or several different technologies that were added on at the end of 2019, and then all of a sudden January comes 2020, and we got all this stuff with the coronavirus, and in March we had to shut down. So we were already in a position to take advantage of all this virtual stuff, and a lot of the training now, all of the training, right, goes virtually through Zoom, and we're helping people get licensed, and we're helping people develop a career. So what can you say about that, man?
Well, I tell you, you know, when in the older model of the way we did things, so people out there understand, we're in many areas of the country. And so in many areas of the country, we would have a local meeting where I would go or Mike would go or all the other people would go. And we would sit in the classroom and learn from a experienced teacher. And that was great. Okay. When we made that transition because of the coronavirus to having all online training, now all of a sudden we've got a class being broadcast from the headquarters to all around the country, whoever's watching. And
Right.
so instead of having 10 different teachers at one time in 10 different locations, we got one of the top people on any topic available to get on Zoom from wherever they're located. And so our company has always been way ahead on the quality of the training that they give their people. Uh, anyway, now it just ratcheted up a notch now to where, and we understand what we do as a company as the attempt, in action, giving the best training possible at all times. Not that any of our fine competitors don't have good training. I know what many of them do, but it's not the same. And
Right, right.
it's just really extreme now. And special
Yeah.
guests, we had Mr. Hill on from Hill's Cleaners a couple Tuesdays ago, was that, I think? And
Hmm.
to
Yep.
understand the full nature of what they have to do and go through. You hear cleaners and we think about it cleaners to get our suits done. It's totally different. It's a whole different world. So yeah, it's been, the question is, how do I feel about it? I think it's fantastic. And not
Yeah.
only that,
Well,
let me just say one more thing about that.
that.
We we have a marketing technique called the Grade Eight, and the Grade Eight helps us to find more people to help, which is of course what we want to do. And people want their friends to get help. Uh, Um, I love the opportunity to introduce it for a different reason, though, because I always let people know that the winners are announced on the Monday night national training webinar. And that's because we do so much training. So it gives me a quick minute to explain the Monday night and the reasons for it. And 'cause I want the client to know what we do to get trained and really know what we're talking about. I mean, they can assume it, they should assume it, but you know, it's good for them to really know.
Yeah, yeah. And what really impresses me about Metro is that when you look at the company, and we have maybe four to 500 active public adjusters across the country. We have more, so some are inactive. But the 400 to 500 that we have, a lot of them started with zero experience as far as public adjusting, right? They all started from different. I was an EMT when I first started. I don't know what you were, but I know real estate agents that started, and college students, they just fresh out of college, and people that were into teaching, school teachers or truck drivers, and they came into the industry. They sat in through our training, and our training is ongoing. And before a very short period of time, they're professionals, and they're doing the business at a high level and making some decent money. You and I spoke earlier today about some people that you think would be ideal for this business, and you talked about college students. What do you why don't you share some of those ideas?
Well, anybody who's looking for part-time flexible or full-time flexible, but let's just start with part-time because I think at this time, uh, there's a lot of people that are unsure about what's happening around them in terms of their current employer or their own business that they do already, and they want a little something extra to fill in the gap. Um, Certainly, people can do this full time as well, and so when I started, I remember overhearing a discussion, an assumption that people who have experienced home ownership, more mature adults, would be a better suited person to join this company because they know what it's like to own a property and have to deal with all those things. I can totally get that. But smart college students can understand it as well, especially when you explain it. And all the different presentations we have with samples and examples. And I mean, we would have a visit from, Wayne Brown down here or, uh, you know, uh, Tom Price, providing these presentations with great photos from real live cases that they worked on, and so the college students can learn all this stuff just as easily as anybody else, and as long as they have transportation, which is a question, they can do this job, learn to do this job just as well as anybody else, and they're adept at giving presentations, writing term papers, and getting in front of a group of people. So yeah, I actually think that it's a great thing for college students to do. And so I'll spend some time trying to attract some college students. But on the other hand, anybody at any phase, you could have. I was speaking to a contractor the other day, actually in California. So I'm trying to extend where I know some people, and he said to me, "Oh, it sounds like something good for my father." His father was, probably started the business many years prior, and at this point, I use an expression sometimes. I said to him, this is what he reacted to. I said, a lot of guys that are contractors, they find this and they say, yeah, I'm tired of working like crazy and being crawling around on top of buildings and stuff like that. When I could walk around with a clipboard and a flashlight and a calculator, he was saying that would be
Yeah.
perfect for his father. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And it might be perfect for
Mm,
you too. At what point do you fall off the shed and break your leg when you say, I am done
right,
doing this
right.
stuff that's better for a younger man? And I saw a picture of our friend Paul Peck climbing a ladder doing a roof inspection. And I was thinking, man, I love the way we do those roof inspections, but I know he bought a drone. What is he doing? You know, so some
Yeah.
you do have to do some things to do the inspections that you don't want to be putting yourself in an uncomfortable position. But anybody can learn to do what we do and take the pictures, fill out some paperwork, as you mentioned. Now it's easier than ever with DocuSign.
Yeah, well, yeah, let me clarify something so that whoever is listening here doesn't get the wrong impression. Overall, we don't, like Glenn and I don't go up and look at roofs and things like that. What we do is we visit the homeowner, we look at their policy, we see if their damage is covered by the policy. We write up the paperwork, we have the homeowner authorize that. In other words, authorize the fact that we are going to be taking over that claim. And then we pass that claim on to a person like he was talking about. Paul Peck is what is known as a field adjuster. Now, a field adjuster goes up on the roofs. A field adjuster does, may have to go into a crawl space and stuff like that. But for Glenn and I, we don't do that. We actually go, and what we're doing is we're confirming that the claim is a legitimate claim. So, and I say that because I don't want people that you just talked about college students,
Yes,
but this is also a great career for retirees. I don't want a person that's in their 60s to
absolutely.
think, oh, I got to go on roofs. I can't do that. You don't have to do that, right? You don't have to do that. You have
No,
to
I
be
never go
able
on a
to,
roof.
right. You have to be able to just confirm that that's a legitimate claim, and then you pass on the paperwork to the company, and the company takes care of the rest of the claim. Mr. Glenn, we're going to be
Yeah, and
closing this off. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you said that I'm a brave person, but I'm not brave enough to go climb on a roof.
Yeah, I hear you. Neither am I. Neither am I. Well, listen, Glenn, thank you very much for sharing your time with me today. And do you have any closing statements for anybody that may be looking at this? And for you, if you're looking at this and you're a homeowner and you have damage to your property, this is the time. Pick up the phone, give us a call, and say, "Hey, I got some damage. I see you're a public adjuster. What do you want to say to both homeowners and somebody that may be looking at a side, what they call today side hustle, a side or part-time business or part-time job? What would you say to both those people?
Well, I'm going to answer it in the other order only because of what you just said. If this is a side hustle or a full time or either way, uh, mentally, don't 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 think it's less than it really is, because it
Mm,
could be very good money. You don't know. You walk into a house and you could have a claim that's, not a lot. It's not a big damage situation, but we're going to help that homeowner get the money they need, and that's what they need. So you really be solving their problem. And it could be a big claim, and they really need the money, and you're going to really help them. But you're also going to get a nice chunk of pay for doing what's relatively simple. So, and I did not mean to scare away anybody that doesn't want to work hard or has been working hard for a long, long time, many years, and now they want to take it easy. And literally, I'm not prepared with my clipboard, but I mean a clipboard and a moisture meter and a flashlight. This is not a lot of complicated stuff to do. As far as the homeowners are concerned, you are absolutely nuts to not take advantage of our free inspection, because you could be throwing away 5, 10,000. You don't know what appears to be a smaller claim, some small kind of a thing. But it's like the knee bone's connected to the hip bone, and all that stuff with people. Well, it's the same thing in a house. And sometimes what appears to be small could have a tremendous effect on the value of your home. And one day you're going to want to sell that home, and you're leaving damage behind the walls that's going to be found by the home inspector, because they know what to do. They're very good at their job, and that's going to come back to haunt you one day in a way of thousands of dollars. So Mike can come over there, or I can come over there, inspect the property, not leave. I hate the expression "money on the table," but not leave money on the table. That, because believe me, the insurance company's happy to keep it.
oh, absolutely.
So
Yep, absolutely.
you deserve your money. We'll help you get it.
And you brought up a good point that, um, believe it or not, for those of you that are looking at the career aspect of being a public adjuster, even in a small claim, even in a claim where the person is going to get maybe five to $10,000, you could still walk away with, 500 bucks, let's say, right? Or more.
Absolutely.
So you're talking about an hour, maybe 2 hours of work, and you could walk away with a decent amount. If you get some claim like a fire, which is a catastrophic loss, you could walk away with tens of thousands of dollars for the time that you're there. So it's really a lucrative opportunity. It's not for everybody. Nothing is for everybody, but for those of you that, and again, we talked about retirees or we talked about college students. It really fits a whole gambit of people. You got a lot of different diversities that we work with, and it's just a desire to really want to help people. If you want to help people, you can make a lot of money, and you can build yourself a very nice career where you're in control. You're in control of your schedule, and you're in control of how much you really want to make. So, Mr.
And
Glenn,
one of
I
my
truly appreciate you spending your time with me today. If you are looking at this, and I'm talking to the viewer now, if you're looking at this and you see that Glenn could be an asset to you, Glenn has a tremendous amount of knowledge, and I fully recommend him. Pick up the phone and call him up and say, I got some questions, or I'd like to attend the Zoom meeting, or, can you help me understand this? Glenn will walk you through the process so that you can understand what it takes to be a public adjuster. Or if you're a homeowner and you got some damage, he can also help you with making sure you are satisfied, making sure the insurance company is treating you properly. So, Glenn, thank you very, very much for spending your time with me today. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for the song. If we had some more time, I'd have you finish the song up or play it one more time, but we got to go. So,
yeah, those,
thank you, man. I appreciate your help.
my pleasure. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.